Michael Yee is a senior biotech analyst at the firm and joins us now. Michael, great to have you with us. We've been talking about some bigger dynamics in the market, which theoretically could benefit biotech. That is, rotation into value, declining interest rates next year. Is that going to be enough? Because we thought that maybe there were times when M&A seemed to make sense, and yet it never benefited biotech.
Well, it's great to be here. I think there are two positive tailwinds. The first is, particularly for the small and mid-cap biotechs or the XBI, you guys pull up that chart, that has been a big dog.
All right, buckle up, folks, because the pharma and biotech gang, led by big names like Eli Lilly, Biogen, and CRISPR, is gearing up for some serious action in 2024. Think big gains, major deals, and breakthroughs in cutting-edge tech like CRISPR gene editing stealing the spotlight. Now let's rewind a bit. The past couple of years haven't been smooth sailing for biopharma stocks. They've been taking hits left and right, thanks to worries about upcoming Medicare drug price negotiations. But hey, here's the silver lining. Analysts are feeling optimistic. David Song from Tima ETFs is cautiously optimistic, while Kyle Rasbach from Aventide Asset Management thinks we're closer than ever to a friendlier environment for biotech. The winds of change are blowing, according to Christopher Anzalone, the head honcho at Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals. He's feeling like maybe, just maybe, 2024 won't be such an uphill battle for biotech. With all these breakthroughs on the horizon, it's shaping up to be a pretty darn important year. Now let's talk numbers. Biotech stocks had their heyday back in early 2021, riding high on the hype of COVID vaccines and treatments. But as the pandemic took a backseat, so did biotech shares. Picture this. From early 2021 to a low point in October 2023, the medical biomed/biotech industry group took a nosedive, dropping over 60%. Same story with the Spider S&P Biotech, XBI. But hey, December was a game changer. Both the industry group and the XBI ETF saw double-digit gains. Anzalone, the big cheese at Arrowhead, reckons it's not like the science wasn't there to give biotech stocks a boost. It's just that Wall Street wasn't paying attention. But now, with December's turnaround, it looks like the tide might be turning for the biotech crew. December was like the month of mega deals in the biotech world. We're talking about Bristol Myers Squibb dropping a cool $14 billion to snag Karuna Therapeutics, and Roche throwing down $3.1 billion for Carmot Therapeutics in the red-hot obesity field. Not to be outdone, AbbVie went on a spending spree, splashing around $18.8 billion on two major deals in just a week. And then, as the month was winding down, Bristol Myers offered up another $4.1 billion for RayzeBio, while AstraZeneca swooped in to snag Gracell Biotechnologies for around $1.2 billion. Now, hold on to your seats, because the excitement didn't stop there. Early January brought the annual J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference in San Francisco, where Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Novartis joined the party. This conference is known for its jaw-dropping takeover deals, and this year was no exception. J&J is making moves with a $2 billion buyout of Ambrx, while Merck is throwing down $860 million for Harpoon Therapeutics. Both companies are diving deep into cancer treatments, with Ambrx focusing on targeted chemotherapy and Harpoon aiming to amp up the immune system with its T-cell activators. And let's not forget Calypso Biotech, which is flying under the radar with its Novartis deal, testing out treatments for autoimmune diseases. But wait, there's more. We've got some wins on the regulatory front too. CRISPR Therapeutics snagged FDA approval for the first gene-editing drug based on CRISPR technology. Shares took a bit of a dip, but are bouncing back. Meanwhile, Vertex Pharmaceuticals scored a victory in non-opioid pain treatment, and Moderna's stock shot through the roof with promises of its cancer vaccine in partnership with Merck, especially for melanoma patients. Now, as we gear up for 2024, folks like Rob Etherington, CEO of Clean Nanomedicine, are expecting the spotlight to shine back on biotech stocks. But Sean Bowen, CEO of Olema Oncology, has a gentle reminder for investors. Fast drug development ain't a walk in the park, but boy, is it a solid business opportunity. Now let's rewind to the start of the year. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk dropped some major news bombs in the obesity arena. Eli Lilly launched this slick direct-to-consumer website, connecting folks with independent doctors, support, and easy-peasy drug delivery from third-party pharmacies. Meanwhile, Novo teamed up with Omega Therapeutics to explore fresh ways of tackling obesity and partnered up with Celerity to tackle a nasty form of liver disease linked to obesity. In 2024 alone, injectable drugs from Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk that handle both type 2 diabetes and obesity are expected to rake in a whopping $36.9 billion in sales. And hold on to your hats, because by 2028, those 4 drugs could nearly double that, hitting a jaw-dropping $68.8 billion in sales. That's some serious cash flow right there. Novo Nordisk is already making waves on the IBD leaderboard list of top-notch growth stocks. Plus, their stock just busted out of a base-on-base setup, hitting an entry point of 105.69. And if you're eyeing Eli Lilly, well, they're making moves too. Their stock shot up 4% after bouncing back above their 50-day line, and they're forming a sleek, flat base with a buy point of 629.97. Talk about some exciting stuff happening in the weight loss world. Let's break down what Raymond Stevens, CEO of Structure Therapeutics, GPCR, has to say about the heavyweight competition in the type 2 diabetes and obesity game. According to him, giants like Lilly and Novo have pretty much locked down the injectable space. But don't despair, folks. There's still wiggle room for biotech companies to shake things up. Now here's the scoop. Structure Therapeutics took a bit of a tumble, dropping a whopping 43% back in December. But hey, Stevens isn't throwing in the towel just yet. He reckons there's still some fight left in Structure's drug. Sure, it might not be topping the scales like Lilly's treatment, but there's potential to up the dosage and maybe score some extra weight loss points. It's all about finding that sweet spot in the market for GLP-1 drugs, the same mechanism powering Novo's Wegovy and Ozempic and Lilly's Mounjaro and Zepbound. Now let's hear from Simeon George, CEO of SR1, a venture capital firm. According to him, blazing a new trail is key in this cutthroat market. To stand out against the big dogs, you've got to bring something fresh to the table, something that sets you apart from the crowd. So what's the secret sauce to breaking into the diabetes and obesity scene? Well, experts say there's more than one way to crack that nut. Besides cooking up oral medicines, companies can focus on improving the quality of weight loss treatments. The thing is, most drugs targeting the GLP-1 hormone not only burn fat, but also strip away muscle. And losing muscle mass makes it tough to keep those pounds off once you stop the treatment. But fear not. Eli Lilly's already tackling this muscle mass dilemma. They've teamed up with Biotech Therapeutics to test a compound that could beef up muscle mass alongside GLP-based weight loss. Meanwhile, Structure is eyeing this issue too, looking into another drug that targets a hormone called apelin. And let's not forget about Arrowhead and Biohaven. Arrowhead's diving into RNA interference in fat tissue, while Biohaven's taking a swing at muscle growth with a myostatin-based approach. Myostatin is a protein hanging out in your muscles and has shown promise in diseases like spinal muscular atrophy. Now, according to Vijay Panda, a big shot at venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, we're on the cusp of seeing a whole ecosystem sprout up around obesity drugs. It's like the Wild West out there, but with a lot less tumbleweeds and a whole lot more potential to tackle the biggest preventable disease with the nastiest sidekicks. The spotlight's shining on the gene editing scene after CRISPR Therapeutics and Vertex scored FDA approval for their sickle cell disease treatment, Casgevy. At a hefty price tag of $2.2 million per treatment, it's hailed as a potential one-time fix for this devastating blood disorder. John Evans, the big cheese over at Beam Therapeutics, says everyone pretty much saw Casgevy coming, but now that it's here, it's like a breath of fresh air. He's pumped, saying it's a game changer not just for the field of gene editing, but for medicine as a whole. And you better believe it's catching the eye of both the general public and investors. It's a big deal, folks. Expect all eyes on this steady march of progress. But hold your horses. There's a catch. The launch might be a slow burn for the gene editing space. While there are tens of thousands of sickle cell patients in the US, not all of them can handle the gene editing process. It's a pretty intense procedure involving taking out and tweaking a patient's own stem cells. Then comes the fun part: chemotherapy to wipe out the existing stem cells before giving them back their edited cells. Sure, these treatments are game changers, but they're no walk in the park to dish out, as Evans points out. Now let's talk about what's brewing in the world of second-generation gene editing. Companies like Beam and others are working on new approaches that could ditch the chemo step and take the gene editing process from outside the body to inside. A real game changer. But wait, there's more. Intellia Therapeutics got the FDA nod to test not one but two in vivo gene editing drugs in humans. One targets a nasty swelling disease, while the other zeroes in on the gene responsible for pesky protein buildup in nerves, hearts, kidneys, and eyes. And then there's Verve Therapeutics, shaking things up with their in vivo gene editing drug for folks with familial hypercholesterolemia. But here's the kicker: their stock took a hit when safety concerns arose. While a single dose of their drug slashed LDL cholesterol levels, there were some scary incidents, including one patient kicking the bucket due to cardiac arrest. It's a reminder that while the potential is huge, the road to gene editing success might have a few bumps along the way. In October, Eli Lilly made a significant move by investing $250 million in acquiring rights to 3 gene-editing drugs from Verve. These drugs target high LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, which affect a large number of people in the US. Despite existing treatments like statins, many patients struggle to adhere to medication regimens, prompting interest in gene-editing therapies. However, there's debate over the effectiveness and safety of gene editing versus other approaches, such as RNA interference, particularly in treating high cholesterol and triglycerides. In neuroscience, notable developments include FDA approval for Biogen and Eisai's Alzheimer's treatment, Leqembi, and a new ALS drug from Biogen and Ionis Pharmaceuticals.
Michael Yee is a senior biotech analyst at the firm and joins us now. Michael, great to have you with us. We've been talking about some bigger dynamics in the market, which theoretically could benefit biotech. That is, rotation into value, declining interest rates next year. Is that going to be enough? Because we thought that maybe there were times when M&A seemed to make sense, and yet it never benefited biotech.
Well, it's great to be here. I think there are two positive tailwinds. The first is particularly for the small and mid-cap biotechs or the XBI. You guys pull up that chart. That has been a big dog for 3 years. We finally get a little move here over the past 6 weeks. And I think it's the early cycle of a forward-looking, easing rate environment. And I think that that is going to be a positive tailwind, and certainly one of the sectors that should be a beneficiary if you think about long duration, interest rate sensitive areas. Cash flowing biotechs are one. The second positive tailwind, which we had a note out today, I think you mentioned it, and we saw it right here today, is more M&A. You've got over $100 billion of cash sitting at big pharma. You had Bristol deploying 14 today. Pfizer's got to do more, et cetera, et cetera. And with all of these stocks beaten down, I think you see valuations attractive. I think that's another positive tailwind going into 24.
What are some of the themes in terms of, what is going to drive M&A?
Karuna Therapeutics' schizophrenia drug is also under FDA review. Alecta Therapeutics sees neuroscience as a promising field, akin to oncology, focusing on boosting the immune system to tackle Alzheimer's. The rise in neurodegenerative disease drug development is reflected in stock market trends, indicating potential for growth despite challenges. Improving existing treatments and exploring alternative approaches are key strategies in Alzheimer's drug development, with interest in AI-driven research to accelerate discoveries. As for the overall state of biotech stocks, top performers like Amphastar Pharmaceuticals and Neurocrine Biosciences are leading the pack.